Good morning, and welcome back to the One and O Sports Show. On today's episode, we'll break down the biggest moments from Week 3 of college football and Week 2 of the NFL, with takes on early playoff contenders and pretenders. Plus, we dive into the latest Texas athletics news, including the Longhorns' rise to the #1 in the AP poll. All that and more on the One and O Sports Show.
You guys are good. The TV.
We're going to have an exciting show. We're going to talk about the NFL divisional round and what we expect from it. We talk about Texas's inconsistent start in Big 12 play for men's basketball. We'll finish with some talk about our women's basketball team. So we got a packed show today.
I got to go the other way. You know, Texas A&M, they got a lot of identity issues. Are they an agricultural school? Are they military? Are they blue collar? Are they academics? They're all over the place. So
now, I'm always a sucker for a one-handed catch. I have tiny hands. I need 3 of them just to catch a football. So this one-handed grab in the end zone, that's just super impressive in my eyes. That's going to be my play of the week.
Mayo pour on college game day. Look at this. Just the guy and the North Carolina, South Carolina game. He's just straight eating it, shirt off, rubbing it on his body.
Hey, listen, the Cinderella story ends here, Texans. I'm sorry, man. The chariots turns back into the pumpkin. It struck midnight. Whatever you want to say. I think it ends here.
Today's show is brought to you by Cap Metro, Austin's transit system. We connect you to work, school, play, and everywhere in between. Plan your ride to this weekend's game at capmetro.org. Good morning. I'm your host, Diego Becerra, and this is my co-host, Giorgy Ruiz. Giorgy, how are you feeling on this Friday morning?
I'm feeling fantastic. You know, we have a lot of stuff going on in the sports world, and I'm just ready to get into it. So let's get into it. So who's hot? The Texas Longhorns, with their amazing resilience to bring it to the #1 in the AP polls. You know, even with Quinn with his injury, these Longhorns have really stepped up to the plate, especially Arch Manning, which we'll dive into later. And, you know, these Longhorns just feel like they can really be a playoff team this year, and excited to see how they go. And who's not is the defending national championships, Michigan. You know, with the loss to Texas in the Big House and barely pulling off a win against Arkansas State, the team is not looking like champions right now. You know, they still have a lot of work to do to try to get back to the place that they were in the beginning. But, you know, let's see how much this team can pull off and how much they can actually show that they deserve to be back. What about you?
Who's hot? Give me Alvin Kamara. Kamara had 20 carries for 115 yards and scored 3 rushing touchdowns. And alongside that, he added 65 receiving yards and another touchdown as he pounded my Dallas Cowboys. But don't worry, Cowboys fans, it's still our year. Now, on who's not, give me Travis Kelce. The famous boyfriend of Taylor Swift had 1 reception for 5 yards against the Bengals. This is not something you want to see from a guy like Travis Kelce. And if you had him on your fantasy team, I feel bad for you.
You know, speaking of the NFL, you know, we're 2 weeks in with some surprising and not 2-0 teams, and some surprising and really not 0-0 teams. What teams have been the biggest surprise this year for you?
For me, I have to go with the Baltimore Ravens, man. I mean, your QB's coming off of an MVP season. You just signed Derrick Henry. So there's no reason you should be 0-2. Now, the Chiefs game, I understand, but there's no reason you should lose to a Raiders team led by Gardner Minshew. And what about you?
Honestly, Tampa Bay is one of my more surprising teams. You know, despite losing Tom Brady to retirement, the Bucs have managed an undefeated start, including an impressive win over the Detroit Lions, even while dealing with significant injuries. Their defense has played a critical role, stepping up to the absence of key players like Antoine Winfield Jr. and Kalijah Kancey. I'm glad to see what they've accomplished without Brady, but let's see how much they can still hold their ground. But, you know, that defense is looking good, and that offense looking like they haven't lost anyone. But
now, a lot has happened in the first 3 weeks of the college football season. Who are your early contenders and pretenders for this year's first ever 12-team playoff format?
Well, I'm a Longhorns fan, but stepping away from that, I think a really good contender could be Ohio State for me. You know, Ohio State's always kind of just there. It doesn't really have too much traction. It doesn't really get a lot of attention, but I feel like it's kind of going to be one of those sneaky ones that we need to be prepared for in this last playoff. And Oregon, I don't know why they're kind of ranked the way they are. They barely have pulled off these wins these last 2 games. And, you know, Oregon, they talk a lot and they show they try to show that they are a contender, but really, I just really don't see them having hope when they actually go against big teams. But what about you?
I got to go with the Texas Longhorns. I mean, what we've seen these past 3 weeks from this Texas football team is everything Longhorns fans would want to see. I mean, despite the run defense giving up quite a bit of yards to some subpar teams, this team is everything you want on your journey to the playoffs. There's a reason why this team is the number one team in the nation. Now, for my pretender, I got a hot take. Give me Georgia. I mean, barely beating Kentucky by 1 point. As a number one team in the nation, that should never happen against an unranked team. I mean, they do have Alabama this week, number 2, number 4. Maybe they'll prove me wrong, but I see Georgia as being a pretender right now.
Okay, that's a pretty hot take. I don't think a lot of people would agree with you, but, I still think we got to watch out for Georgia, just got to say. But when we come back, we will have our special guest, Nolan Clay, to judge our best highlights of the sports world. So stay tuned on the 1 and 0 show.
That was coming up kind of late. Yeah, what? Okay. 2, 1, bump. That's the wrong one.
All right, and welcome back to the 1 and 0 Sports Show. We have a very special guest joining us, making his TSTV debut this morning. Woo! We got Nolan Clay. Nolan, how are you today?
I'm doing great today. It's Friday. It's my TST debut, like you said. The Horns are number 1. I couldn't be better, so I'm really excited to get onto the segment. Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, so he's going to be judging our best picks of our favorite moments. So starting off, we have the best college football play, and mine has to be the Washington State's game-winning defense against Washington. The Washington was making their way to the goal line, but first you had a catch knocked away by Stephen Hall in the end zone. But the best play had to be with Washington State, which Washington was 4th and goal right at the 2nd-yard line, and they tried to run the ball, but the defense stopped it with Kyle Thorne, the captain linebacker, with the tackle, and Washington State goes on to win the football game. We love a good underdog story. I love a good defense. Defense wins games. I always
Absolutely.
believe that. But what about you, Diego?
My pick has to be our own Arch Manning's electric 67-yard touchdown run. We see Arch pull the ball in an RPO, juke the UTSA safety, and turn on the Jets for 6. I never thought I'd see a Manning run this fast in my life. What do you think, bro?
Yeah, I mean, the play to for Washington State to win the Apple Cup, obviously a rivalry game, really special play for them, especially after the whole, Washington leaving the Pac-12. But I got to go with Arch, man. I was at the stadium there, man. The atmosphere was electric. Everyone was jumping around. I can't even, I have no words for how cool that was to watch a Manning just 67-yard run, something like that. And he reached 20 miles per hour or something. That's insane. What a play that was. And, our future is real bright.
Okay, and then jumping into the next one, we have the best NFL play of week 2. And mine has to be the Jets versus the Titans with a double coverage defense touchdown. I mean, you see right here, you see he releases the ball, and I thought it was going to be a pick, but you see right in between those double coverage defenders, it was so amazing, just real quick. Ooh, that's the perfect description of a quarterback's eye and be able to just seal that right in the pocket. The Titans are looking good, but spun plays like that, just to be able to be quick on your feet and be quick thinking and just zoning in to the moment and just not letting anything distract you, that is my NFL play. But what about you, D?
My best play has to be from Cam Taylor-Britt against the Chiefs. We're going to see Mahomes throw a ball to former Longhorn, Xavier Worthy. But we see Britt go up and single-handedly snag that ball. Oh, my God. This could be the best interception we see this year.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Nolan?
Yeah, I had a really tough time deciding between these two plays. The throw by Will Levis to Calvin Ridley was incredible, through double coverage, the catch and everything, the concentration. But the interception by Cam Taylor-Britt was absolutely insane. It looked like it just stuck to his hand. It looked like he had super glue on his hand. I mean, it didn't look real. So I got to go with that, super impressive interception.
I guess that's fair. That was a pretty good catch, but I still think the double coverage touchdown is really good. But, okay, now we're moving on to the MLB. So my highlight of the week was Bailey Falter, his 360 play at first. First off, Bailey had a really good game with 8 strikeouts, but this highlight didn't come from a strikeout. It came from his amazing footwork. You see him do a 360 and a play right into the base to get the Louisiana Cardinals out. And you see it right here, just that quick thinking. And just right there, without even no hesitation, and boom. It's just being able to work on those fast environments and those under pressure situations where you're able to think on your feet and just get it done. But what about you, D?
Mine has to come from Ohtani going 6 for 6, racking up 10 RBIs as he hit 3 monster home runs and stole 2 bases to hit the 51-51 mark.
Incredible.
I mean, these are all monster shots, and Ohtani just does it like nothing. I mean, could this be the next Babe Ruth? I believe so.
Possibly.
I feel like he's going to hit 60-60 before this season even goes anywhere.
3 home runs, 2 stolen bases, and he didn't think 50-50 was enough. He wanted to go 51-51. Last shot right here off the second baseman. Gone. What do you think, Nolan?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, Giorgy, but I got to go with Ohtani again. Not only wasn't it a historic night getting the 50-50, he went 6 of 6 with 10 RBIs, 3 home runs, 2 of them being absolute bombs, swamp donkeys, whatever you want to call them. Incredible. We'll never see a player like this maybe ever again. You'll never see a night like that maybe ever again. I got to go with Ohtani, man. What a player.
I guess that's fair. Yeah, no, that's history in the making that we're witnessing. Is just crazy. Okay, and this one's my favorite, where we talk about the biggest blooper or the biggest mistake. So mine had to be with the Mariners third base out, you see Randy Arozarena go up to bat, and when he swings the bat, it slips out of his hand like his hands have baby oil, and it flies all the way to third, making Julio Rodriguez move out of the base line and get out of the way. However, he doesn't realize that the ball is still in play, and the Yankees were quick, fast acting on their feet, and you see them get that out right there. And I mean, I think it's crazy, but I would move out of the way if a bat was flying at me right here. You see right here, he moves, He thinks that he's good. He thinks that he's chill, but he has to run right back to that base and boom with the out. That's the stadium sort of got electric. But also, honorable mention, there was a cat on the field with the Baylor versus the Air Force game. And I love a good animal on the field. And he was like, I love a good little orange cat activities. But that's an honorable mention. You don't have to judge it. But
All right.
definitely needed to be mentioned.
I think my biggest looper comes from, once again, Will Levis.
Man, he's trying to get on it every week now.
We're going to see Will Levis scramble out the pocket. Oh, hold on. We're going to see Will Levis scramble out the pocket, almost get sacked, and make a questionable pitch to Tyjae Spears, where Spears cannot recover the ball, and the Jets end up grabbing it. And to make matters even worse, we're going to see Levis get a handful from his coach.
Yeah.
It's not been a good 2 weeks for Levis.
Mm-hmm.
And
He could pull off
I don't think he
plays.
can get worse than that for the first 2 NFL games. But Nolan, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Will Levis is trying to be on the blooper segment every week. But you know what? I'm not going to pile on him. I'm going to go with Giorgy's pick finally. The Julio Rodriguez losing, focus, losing, getting out, in that way. It's such a Mariners way to lose, As, I've never been a Mariners fan, so, when I see them do stuff like that, I'm just like, man, it's just such a Mariners way to lose, especially when they're trying to make the playoffs and whenever. Just a way to lose like that. I mean, it's just so funny when I watch that. So, yeah, I got to go with that play.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, I would move out of the way, too.
Yeah.
I don't blame him.
I don't blame him, but you got to be a little more focused that you got to know the rules, man.
Exactly. But shout out Yankees. So, and for our last pick of this segment, we have the best college volleyball player of the week. And mine had to be with Texas versus Baylor. Baylor lost, but Baylor with Manuela, I cannot say her last name, my apologies. In the third set, the two-time defending national champions, Texas Longhorns, was going against Baylor. And you see, going up for the spike. However, I was there at the game, we thought it was a kill. So as soon as the girls spiked it, they started cheering and celebrating. However, they didn't realize that the ball was still in play, just like last time. So we thought it bounced off her foot. Turns out it was actually a really nice dig from Manuela. She got it up and she got it out, and then the Longhorns just couldn't recover. So that was mine. What about you, D?
My best play for volleyball this week comes from number 1 Pitt, who has not lost a set this year, actually. That's insane.
Yeah.
We're going to see them going for the kill right here. Valeria Gomez goes up, hammers it, win. Just like that to take out number 3 Penn State. And I think Pitt will be a big contender this year. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
Definitely going to be very different for the volleyball
What do you
world.
think?
Yeah, I mean, as a goalie, when I see a good play with reflex and stuff like that, it really catches my eye. When I saw Manuela Bebinbe, I think that's how I pronounce her name. When I saw her just stick her hand super quick, getting that dig, I was super impressed. It didn't even look natural. It looked like some alien type stuff. That was incredible. I really respect reflex plays like that. I gotta go with that one for sure. Manuela Bebinbe, such a good dig right there.
I'm telling you, seeing that in person too was crazy because I was cheering and then I was like, what's going on? What's going on?
That's insane.
Yeah, so when we tally it up, I think you had 3 and I had 2. But we appreciate you coming on here and congratulations for your TSTV debut. Hopefully we get to see you back here soon. And when we come back, we will talk more about our Texas athletics. So stay tuned on the One and O Sports Show. Sports Show, and for this block, we're going to be talking about Texas athletics. And Texas has reached #1 in the AP polls for football for the first time since 2008. Are they deserving of the #1 spot? And what do you think they need to maintain? What do you think they need to do to maintain that position?
You know, I think these Longhorns definitely deserve the #1 spot. I mean, Texas has gone in, handled business every game as expected. The offense has scored 129 points in 3 games. And on the flip side, defense has only allowed 19 points. I mean, this looks like a top team in the nation, and opponents are scared to play us, I believe. Yeah. Now, only thing is that D-line. I mean, the run game, a little bit against us, our run stop. I mean, UTSA had, 120 yards. Colorado State has around 100 yards. I mean, that's something you cannot give up against teams like Georgia or OU because they will penetrate on those things.
Definitely. And you know what? I just think, we saw what happened. UTSA, Quinn had gotten hurt, and Arch made his, little debut, which was really, really good. He did really great. But I think, the key success would be just maintaining their offensive momentum because they're doing really good right now. Their defense is looking sharp, but just you can improve it more. And just keeping key players like Quinn and just trying to, avoid those injuries, especially if we want to be playoff contenders. It would just be smarter just to, kind of just be careful in those aspects because we kind of need Quinn for the playoffs if we're going to have a chance to win because Arch can take us far, but he doesn't really read the pocket too much. We'll get more into that later, but I just feel like they really do just need to make sure their defense is good and just stick with their offense.
Now, you say defense, what positions are we talking?
I think more like the actually, no, the D-line's really good at, stopping these running games. But then again, we haven't really had – it's really hard to judge because we haven't really had good teams that we have gone against yet or, actual, what do you call it? Actual, competition. Michigan was good, especially in the Big House. They showed out really well. But, we just have to see how it goes. I have to get more into it. But then switching over to women's soccer, they're currently – 7-2 right now because they tied against Alabama yesterday, and they're sitting at #11 in the country as of right now. And in your opinion, who has been the MVP of this year?
I gotta say Lexi Massimo. I mean, she leads the team in goals and assists and points. She has 7 goals. She actually got 2 assists last night in their SEC opener. I mean, who else? I mean, I think this girl she's top in the nation right now. I love having her here. Love watching her. And I think she's going to continue to show up throughout these next games.
Definitely. The soccer is doing really, really well right now. And I think another key player to keep on looking at is Trinity Byers, who has also been instrumental in approving assists and driving fouls in dangerous areas, creating goal-scoring opportunities for the team. These Longhorns ladies are looking really good, and their amazing defense and offense is making their stance. I feel like they can go up in these polls, but definitely just keeping a lookout for these ladies. They deserve more attention than they get. But they are really a solid team, and we're really excited to see how they go. And, just kind of switching back over to football, like I mentioned earlier, Quinn went down with a injury against the UTSA game. I think it was, I want to say his shoulder. This
past one? Mm-hmm. No, it was in the abdomen.
That's right. It was in the abdomen. Shoulder was last year. But, and, this is marking his 3rd early season injury since his time at Texas. Should we be concerned about, or should Longhorn fans be concerned about his ability to stay healthy? And on another note, what were your thoughts about Arch Manning's plays?
So, I think that there's no need to worry. We saw this last year, had an injury on his non-throwing shoulder, came back, led us to the college football semifinals. But I do think he deserves some rest. Give him a week or possibly 3 with the bye. You could let Arch play against Mississippi State, just depending on how he looks this game. But, I mean, you give him time. He'll be back for the Red River Showdown. We'll go in. We'll handle business. And I think we'll be good.
Okay. And
you want to go?
Oh, no, I'm saying, I would love to say that I agree with you, but I am kind of worried. As much as I love Quinn and his ability to read the pocket, I feel like keeping him out until OU might come back to kind of haunt us. It's always good. He's been right mentally. He's been more confident with his stance, and we know that. But it's always good to have a good warm-up game before a big game, especially in an environment like the Red River rivalry, which is definitely going to be a defining factor in going into the playoffs. So I feel like we shouldn't keep him out too far. We shouldn't keep him out till OU. At least give him, one more game before that, especially if we don't really have some hard teams. But it all depends on if he's healthy.
Yeah, well, Sark said it was a week by week, so they're going to go based off how he feels. That is true. I mean, holding him for 3 weeks could affect how he plays in the OU game, but I think Quinn is that top-tier quarterback where he can come back and handle business just how he was before he got hurt.
But then when we switch over, we do have Arch Manning as the backup, and he's doing really well so far. You know, we got a mobile Manning, as you can people have been saying it. And you know, the only takeaway I say is that he's just the only takeaway I think something he needs to improve on is just being able and his ability to read his surroundings as well, because he's really good at making these plays and finding out. But when he's in the pocket, he kind of forgets that he has to watch out for everybody around us. But he makes his debut tomorrow at against ULM at DKR, which is going to be his first game that he's starting. So it's really exciting to see how he's going to go up against a team like that.
Yeah, I think overall it was a good game. I mean, Manning completed 9 of 12 passes, 223 yards, 4 touchdowns. But, like you said, there's still some mistakes we're seeing. Just like we saw against Colorado State, it's that pocket awareness and not being able to read the defense. Being able to read the defense and pocket awareness is something you get from experience. So I think give him another year. He's still young. I think next year he will be a Heisman nominee.
And, you know, you're not the only person to say that, but time will only tell to see how far these Longhorns will go this year. And then when we come back on this 1-0 Sports Show, we'll be talking about some trivia. We'll have Joe Duffey on. We'll have Joe on to be with us today. So we'll be right back on the 1-0 Sports Show. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the 1-0 Sports Show. We are sitting here with Santiago Ortiz, the producer of the 1-0 Sports Show. How are you doing today, bro?
I'm doing ecstatic. I am so excited for this trivia. I might have made it a little too hard, but we're going to see. I hope that our contestants can get some of these questions right, but, you know, it's always a great day when you're on the 1-0 Sports Show. So let's just jump right in. All right, so last night, the Jets defeated the Patriots in a 24-3 victory on Thursday Night Football. It marked the first time in 22 years that the Jets were able to win this rivalry by over 20 points. Who was the Jets coach during that last win 22 years ago? We have, number one, we have A, Pete Carroll, B, Bill Parcells, C, Bill Belichick, and D, Adam Gase. So I'll give you guys some time to think about that, really lock in.
I'm going to say Bill Parcells.
Yeah, give me Adam Gase.
Adam Gase, okay. Final answers?
Yeah, locked in.
All right. All right. Bill Parcells was the answer. So we have a good start, actually.
I actually wasn't confident. So.
Yes, Bill Parcells, longtime head coach of the Jets, very successful there. All right, let's move on to the second question. There have been 130 NFL teams to start 0-3, and only one has ever made the playoffs. Which of these teams was the team to make the playoffs? The 2007 Cowboys, the 1999 Ravens, the 2020 Titans, and the 2018 Texans. So which one of these teams started 0-3 and made the playoffs? Got a lot of
the Texans, I think.
Yeah. Got a lot of good teams sitting at 0-2 right now in the NFL, hoping to not fall to that 0-3 spot.
Wait, what did you pick?
The Texans.
I'm going to go with Ravens. I really don't know, so I'm going to go with Ravens.
Okay. And the answer is the 2018 Texans with Deshaun Watson. So, all right, we have a tied game here, 1-1.
Okay.
So, good job, guys. All right. So let's hop into some college football. Texas quarterback Peter Goddard was nicknamed by Longhorn fans Peter the Great. Why was he given this name? A, he delivered the Longhorns its third national championship in 1987. B, he beat OU all 4 years he played them. C, he won the Heisman in 1987. Or D, he is the all-time passing leader at the University of Texas.
I'm going to go with number 2.
Number 2.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with, he's not the passing leader.
Yeah.
Can I pick the same answer?
You can totally pick the same answer.
Okay. Do I want? Yeah, I'll go 2-2.
All right, well, you guys were both right. You guys
all
were both right. So I think that we're sitting at Giorgy, you have 2, Diego, you have 2. So let's move into these last two. Let's see how these go. So we're going to kind of pivot away from the sports side of things. We're going to stay with it. So Texas, as you all very much know, is ranked #1 in the nation for the first time since October 29th, 2008. So if I could ask you guys, what do you think was the Billboard #1 Top 100 song on that day? Is it A, Womanizer by Britney Spears, B, Live Your Life by T.I. featuring Rihanna, C, So What by Pink, or D, Hot and Cold by Katy Perry?
I'm going to go with
Pink.
Live Your Life.
I'm going with Pink.
Live Your
Pink.
Life by Rihanna.
Okay.
That was a big song.
Yeah, I know. Kind of a throwback looking at some of these names. Like, my childhood's flashing right in front of me. But, all right, the answer was actually Womanizer by Britney Spears. So no
she
points.
was the biggest pop star.
No points awaited here. 2008, you know, it's a little bit before, like, some of these artists' times. Like, you know, a lot of them popped off in the 2010s. But anyways, all right, so we have a tie game here. Going into the last question, so you guys might need to pick some separate answers. I know our producer Mike has had trouble with that sometimes. But, okay, so the most notorious Longhorn player in the NBA, Kevin Durant, he's been in the league for 17 years. He's played with a lot of really good players, lots of super teams, kind of known for jumping ship on the Oklahoma City Thunder. But so, all right, how many All-Stars do you think Kevin Durant has played for? Is it A, 18, B, 14, C, 23, or D, 29?
I'm going to go with 23.
Wait, give me some time. Hold on.
Okay. 23.
The Easy Money Snipers played with a lot of guys, you know.
You went what? 23?
Made a lot of money, too.
Give me 29.
29.
29?
Jumped too many times. It has to be the most.
Yeah, they say when there's more money, there's more problems. And the answer is 23.
Let's go!
Oh, no way.
So shout out to
my
Giorgy.
gosh, I wasn't
Giorgy
even
has
confident.
won the trivia segment. He'll have a lot of money. Hopefully not a lot of problems after this show. But good job, guys. That was a great segment.
Great. Thank you for the trivia. I wasn't that confident, to be so honest with you, but we make it through. But thank you for joining us. Thank you for all the work you do on this show. And when we come right back, we'll be be here with our pick'ems with special guest Joe Duffey on as a guest picker. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the 1-0 Sports Show. We're here with Joe Duffey, one of our executive producers of TSTV, and it's time for everyone's favorite segment, Pick'em. So how you doing today, Joe?
I'm doing good. It's 2 years in the making to finally be on the 1-0 Sports Show. I told Adam Ogburn a few years ago I wanted to be on. I told TJ Krulowitz I wanted to be on last year. And now finally under the Santiago Ortiz and TJ Krulowitz regime, I'm finally on the 1-0 Sports Show. It's been a long time coming. Thanks for having me.
Okay, well, let's get right into these pick'ems. We got for number 1, we have number 24 Illinois at number 22 Nebraska.
Yeah, for me, I'm probably going to go with Nebraska here. Dylan Raiola has just been amazing thus far. I really like the home field advantage they've rebuilt at Nebraska as well. Colorado really had no chance a few weeks ago. And Dylan Raiola, who I guess you want to call Patrick Mahomes now since he's kind of cosplaying as him, but he's looking pretty good as well. I didn't think he would come in as effective as he would, but he's been really good. So I like what I'm seeing from them so far, and Matt Rule.
Okay. Well, I'm going to just swerve off. I'm going to go for Illinois. You know, like you said, Nebraska, their advantage is really good at the home. But sometimes, Illinois will pull off those little, like, tricky wins. And sometimes I get lucky always rooting for the underdog. So I'm going to go with Illinois. But what about you, D?
I got to stay with Nebraska, man. I like Dylan Raiola, too. Like mini Mahomes. I don't know why he gets so much hate, but, yeah, I'm going with Nebraska.
Okay.
Number 2, we're at number 11, USC at number 18, Michigan.
Yeah, this is a classic Big Ten matchup, clearly. USC traveling to Ann Arbor. I got to go with USC here. Lincoln Riley, I like how this offense is looking, even though they kind of struggled last time around. But I still think this team is pretty good overall. I do not trust Michigan anymore to get the job done after what Texas did to them a few weeks ago, especially at the quarterback position. I do not think this team is good overall, but their defense is still pretty effective overall with Wink Martindale, even though he's a blitz merchant. But I trust USC's offense to storm into Ann Arbor and get the job done.
Yeah, no, definitely. You know, they say there's not an environment like the Big House, but we saw how Texas did there. You know, Michigan just really can't get it. So I'm going to pick USC as well. You know, I feel like they really just can get the job done. It's not as intimidating as it was at the beginning of the season. What about you?
Yeah, I think USC. I mean, Lincoln Riley coming in. Michigan still trying to find who they are after these past couple weeks. So, yeah, USC. Our number 3 is number 12, Utah, at number 14, Oklahoma State.
I'm going to go with Utah here. I don't know why. I've always had just some kind of favor for Utah. Even back when, you know, even back when they weren't always like a top 10 ranked team, near top 10 ranked team. I really like Kyle Whittingham's squad this year. I think he can really hold his own in the Big 12. I kind of have them as my Big 12 favorite as it stands right now. And I know that OK State can have a really nice home field advantage at times, but I think that Kyle Whittingham's offense can get it done in OK State.
No, I'm going to have to swerve. I love OK State's environment. I've been there a couple of times, an amazing game day experience. So I feel like sometimes they really can pull it off. But like I said, always like to root for the underdog. So I'm just going to go with OK State. Don't really have too much on Utah.
I got to agree with Joe. I can't stand Oklahoma State, so I'm going to go with Utah. They're number 12 over number 14. Just give me Utah. Our number 4 is number 6, Tennessee, at number 15, OU.
Folks, it pains me to say it, but I'm going to have to go with the Oklahoma Sooners. I hate to do it. I hate to do it, but, you know, I don't trust Tennessee like that too much this year. And, look, this defense for Brent Venables has just been really good thus far. I did not expect them to be as good as they have been. Of course, not crazy comp so far the first 3 weeks, but, you know, as this offense is struggling, I think that they can take advantage of how well this defense is playing and get the job done possibly in a home field environment, too, in prime time. Why not against a really good team in Tennessee Volunteers? Josh Heupel's team, not so great going against ranked teams on the road so far in his tenure. I do think that Oklahoma can get this job done. I like Brent Venables' team.
Okay, that's actually a pretty good take. You know, I haven't seen so much about Tennessee, and that's on my part. But I have seen quite a bit of their highlights, and definitely on a road game, sometimes they do kind of will fluctuate with it. But I kind of have some hope for them. I know it's going to be at OU, and that's such a big environment and a very competitive environment. But I feel like Tennessee can pull it off because they go really, really well, especially when it comes to making those fast-acting plays in the end zone.
I'm going to have to agree with you. I think Tennessee will take this win. I don't like what I'm seeing from Brent Venables' team. I mean, that game against Houston was embarrassing.
It's atrocious.
Yeah.
You could even say the Tulane game wasn't all that. Yeah, I just also hate OU too. So, yeah, give me Tennessee. Our number 5 is going to be number 16 LSU. No, UCLA at number 16 LSU.
Yeah, I'm going to go LSU here. I think they're going to try to have a better game here coming back home after having a disappointing game, I thought, in South Carolina. A game that I really don't think should have been that close. I know South Carolina is known for having a crazy home field environment, but this team in LSU kind of escaped last week, and I really think they can set themselves back right, being back in Death Valley. Brian Kelly's team obviously has been hyped every single year he's been there, and it hasn't been off to the best starts that he's probably been envisioned. So I think they can have a really good game here against UCLA, a Big Ten UCLA, might I add. And I think they can get this job done here in Death Valley.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go with UCLA. You know, LSU coming off those really shaky losses on the road and coming back, you know, they might have that home field advantage, but sometimes I just kind of see, you kind of just feel the tension. They're confident, then they're not, and it fluctuates. So if UCLA can get in their head and put a stance as soon as they get on that field, then they might have a chance to win the game. But what about you, D?
Give me LSU. I like that defense, man. There's some dogs out there. I don't really know too much about UCLA, but I've kept up with LSU a little bit. I like their defense, like I said, so I'm going to take LSU.
Okay.
Number 6 is going to be BGSU at TAMU, number
Texas
25.
A&M
I don't know why they're ranked, but number 25.
This is Michael Alvarez's lock of the week. He says Bowling Green over Texas A&M. I don't know about that. I know Bowling Green had a good matchup in Penn State and Happy Valley a few weeks ago. But, you know, I'm going to have to go with Texas A&M here. Connor Wegman, I know he's a little bit banged up. I don't know if he's returning or not. Is he returning or not? Does anybody know? I don't think he is. The guy who was playing last week in Florida. This team was looking pretty good. I really like what I saw from the backup. I like this defense, even though Florida is not necessarily good. Billy Napier is pretty much on the downward spiral, so his days are pretty much numbered. He might be gone already, but Texas A&M, I really like what I'm seeing so far. Last week, they can return back as a number 25 team in Kyle Field, and they get the job done against weak comp.
No, I did agree on all those points, so I did pick TAMU. However, I'm going to go with you, Mike. Bowling Green over TMAU. Let's go. So that's my pick.
Oh, wow.
I never thought I'd have to say this, but A&M, man. It's not a good team. Yeah, they have some luck against big teams. But I don't know. Number 25, you're going into Kyle Field, which they call the 12th man or whatever.
That is a crazy
And Appalachian State said that wasn't really that intimidating for them a few years ago.
Well, they also do bring back power when they walk out.
I also
I thought that was
have the
pretty cool.
cheerleaders. I feel like I would get intimidated if I see those men on the sideline just screaming.
Bowling Green can hold their own, but we'll see how this goes. We'll see how this goes.
Okay.
Now switching. Oh, sorry.
No, you're okay.
Now switching over to the NFL, we have the Texans at the Vikings.
You know, this is going to be an interesting matchup. I'm really excited for this game because this Vikings defense, Brian Flores' defense has looked so amazing thus far, disguising his cover 2 really as a cover 0 coverage. It looks amazing thus far, and it's fooling every quarterback, especially Brock Purdy, who went to the Super Bowl last year. But, you know, looking at this C.J. Stroud team, I know the defense for the Texans is looking also really good. I think this is the game where the Texans offense finally unleashes, that they can wake up, playing in Minnesota, which is also known for its rowdy environment. But I do think they can get the job done here as a 2.5-point favorite against Minnesota's defense. I do really think that this is the game where they start to really take off.
Yeah, you know, I don't really dive much into the NFL that I wish I did, but the Texans are looking better than they have in past years. My friend would always keep me updated with it, and you know what? It's just looking a little bit better. So, especially even in an environment at the home field environment of the Vikings, I feel like the Texans can really pull it off if they just get it together. What about you, D?
I want the Vikings, man. Sam Darnold is looking pretty hot. And Jay Jettis is finally finding that rhythm. He had 133 yards last game against the Niners. They beat the Niners. So I'm going to take the Vikings, man. They're rolling hot right now. And our next one is Eagles at Saints.
You know, Alvin Kamara, you took my soul last week, especially on my birthday, man. You killed me. But I'm not going to choose Philadelphia. I'm sorry. This is back in New Orleans. New Orleans is feeling great. The murder rate apparently dropped down. Did y'all hear about that? The murder rate dropped down.
No
Derek Carr
way.
saved the city. This man is back. He's being praised again. I think this team is really going in right now with Clint Kubiak's new offense. I think they can get the job done at home. If this is Philadelphia, maybe I have something different here, but I'm going to roll with New Orleans here with this offense that is averaging, I believe, 40-something points a game as it stands right now. They scored 44 against Carolina week 1. They just dropped another 40 piece against the Dallas Cowboys. I got them beating the Eagles, who are giving up 6.4 yards a carry on the ground.
That is
Abysmal.
crazy. You know, I'm just gonna. Now you're making me think, but I'm just gonna stick with the Eagles. You know, they're kind of favored in that area. The Saints are doing really, really well. We can't deny that. But I just feel like the Eagles. Just feel it. What about you, D?
I got to go with the Saints. Yeah, Alvin Kamara. He diddled my defense. It was bad.
Wow.
I got to. Sorry. Yeah, I got to stay with the Saints. That defense made the Cowboys look like we weren't even anything. I mean, they were all in Dak's head. The running game was terrible. I mean, I don't know. The Saints just covered that whole game, so I got to stick with the Saints. They're on a hot roll right now.
I mean, our defense was slipping off Kamara like, you know, he had baby oil on, which is crazy. Crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, my God.
Our number 9 is going to be the Ravens at my Dallas Cowboys.
Man, oh man. It's a tough matchup here, especially coming off a Ravens team that started off 0-2. You don't see them start off 0-2 like this, and it's kind of having Ravens fans reeling right now. But I got to go with the Dallas Cowboys in a bounce-back victory. Was there ever any choice, really? No, just kidding. It had to be the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to say that this defense can possibly lock in a little bit more against Derrick Henry. This offensive line for Baltimore is not necessarily as effective as people expected this to start this season. They're very young. They're not getting much of a push. And guess what? The defensive line for the Cowboys is not giving as much of a push either. So something's got to give. I really think this defensive line for the Cowboys can possibly make their mark and maybe pressure Lamar Jackson as well. And I think that this Ravens defense is also not stepping up to the plate as well as they could have in the start of 2024 either. So I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys rebound victory in AT&T Stadium.
You know what? I'm going to have to go against that and say the Ravens. You know, the Cowboys, like you said, their defense doesn't really give much pushback. Their defense allows a lot of yards and they have just random plays. And why is Dak like the highest paid NFL player? It's kind of crazy too, because the way he can't even read certain situations and he just doesn't. When it comes down to the wire, he's not good when it comes down to like the final play of the game. It's never executed. And even in their home field advantage, we've seen a lot of upsets there. So I'm gonna go with the Ravens.
Give me the Cowboys. Micah Parsons was going over the defense, and yeah, that run defense is still not there. They have everything else. We were also missing Ferguson last week. That's a big part when you don't have another receiver like Amari Cooper. CD is getting a little quiet. He gets a little quiet in a second, but I feel like they'll get him going. Like you said, the Ravens defense isn't all there right now, so I think they'll get him going early. Hopefully bring in that run game. I was hoping they would bring back Dalvin Cook for a game. Our running
Practice
backs
squad bound.
haven't looked the best. But our last one is going to be the Lions at the Cardinals.
This is a tough one again. Cardinals are looking really good. They should have won week 1 at Buffalo, but they just didn't get the job done there. But this offense is looking really good. I'm loving Trey McBride. I'm loving Marvin Harrison. I'm guessing his father made the call into Vegas to get that line right and made the call to the Cardinals organization to give him some more targets because he was not even getting any looks in Buffalo. And then they started to feed him all of a sudden out of nowhere against the Rams. I think this is going to be a really good offensive masterclass from both teams. It's going to be a high-scoring game. I do think the Lions can get away with this win, even though it's in Arizona. Lions didn't show up last week against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's defense shut them down, but I really think the Lions can take advantage of them.
Yeah, but, you know, like you said, the Cardinals are looking good. I haven't been keeping up with either teams, I will admit. But, you know, the Lions are favored. But, however, I'm just going to go with the Cardinals. Not too much to say because I don't really know too much. But it just feels like when at a home field advantage like that, just see how the Lions are going to be able to adapt. But what about you?
Like you said, I haven't kept up with the Cardinals at least. I don't know if they're doing good or not. I know Kyler Murray's back. I believe so. But the Lions, I like their offense. I like, Jared Goff. I like Amon-Ra is a dog. Just give me the Lions. I got to just take the favorite.
Okay. Well, then that kind of wraps up our pick'ems. You know, I've seen some really good picks. I'm excited to see how it comes down. You know, what's the matchup that y'all are like most looking forward to? Would you say?
Cowboys? What?
Yeah, Cowboys.
Yeah, that's a good game.
That's my Sunday
Okay, no
afternoon.
bias.
Okay, other than the Cowboys,
I guess
maybe
OU,
Tennessee.
That's gonna be a great game.
Bulls
It's gonna be a great game.
Yeah, I can't wait. But you know, it's college football's back on. We got NFL going and rolling. You know, it's gonna be great. And then tomorrow we got Arch Manning with his debut on ULM. And, it's, you know, there ain't no party like a Texas party. And that's it for this morning. Make sure you tune in next week at 11 a.m. And be sure to check out our sister shows, College Press Box, on Monday night at 6:30, and College Crossfire on Wednesday nights at 9. And have a great day. And thank you, Joe, for joining us today. Thank you, Diego, for his first time hosting. And, yeah, we'll see y'all later on the 1 and 0 show.